What's up everybody, Necrophage here, your Platinum Standard, and today I'm pretty excited. I got a new mic to try out today, so hopefully I sound even sexier to you guys. I don't even know if that's possible, but I should sound better. So either way, let me know in the comments, let me know what you guys think. But that's not the only reason I stopped by today. In case you haven't figured it out from the video yet, I'm here to talk a little bit about Destiny. More specifically than that, I'm going to talk to you guys about the one raid which will be playable come September 9th, and it's called the Vault of Glass. And the Vault of Glass has been a huge topic of controversy since we first learned any details about it. So I'm here to give you guys the cold hard facts, throw in a little speculation of my own. That way everyone knows what's in store for them when the game finally launches. Now I know a lot of people don't know what a raid is, so we'll start there, before we get into any details pertaining specifically to the Vault of Glass. So, what actually is a raid? To put it simply, a raid is one of the last missions that will become available to you in the game. And to beat it, you and your team of other players are going to have to communicate to get to the different parts of the raid, different stages, and ultimately your job as a team is to beat the last boss, the final boss, or bosses if it has more than one. And generally a raid takes a couple hours to beat, but I mean, what are you going to do? It's the hardest mission of the game. So why would you want to do this? To say you're the best. To say you're the most badass character in the game. And pretty much after you beat it, your character's granted weapons and gear that he wouldn't normally get unless he beat this raid. So in-game swag also. So what does all this mean for the Vault of Glass specifically? Well, I'm going to tackle all the details of this particular raid in 3 different categories. First one being how your character gains access to it. Second, how long it takes to beat. And third, some things I think everyone needs to be aware of before they take on the raid itself. So miscellaneous. So let's tackle the first one. How do you gain access to it? Well, Bungie has said that the Vault of Glass is only accessible to your Guardian when he or she hits the level cap of 20. And remember a little while ago when I said you and your team? Well, your teammates must also have hit that same level cap of 20 to meet the requirements for the raid. Now, this is where the controversial details start to come in. Bungie has stated that your team will consist of 6 players and only 6. Yourself and 5 of your friends. No more, no less. And this means if you have less than 6 total players, you will not be able to begin this raid. Bungie on top of that has confirmed that there is also no matchmaking whatsoever for the Vault of Glass. And what is matchmaking, you might ask? Well, I'm assuming all of you guys have played a match of Call of Duty before in multiplayer. And you know how when you jump into a match and it puts you on a random team and it continues to add players to either side until there's enough to begin? Well, that's matchmaking. The system is designed to make sure you have a team to play with, and it tries to make sure both sides are close to evenly matched as possible. Nobody wants a match of 6v1 or something like that. It just wouldn't be fun to get your ass kicked. So, how does this apply to the Vault of Glass? Well, Bungie has stated that this would have, if they had matchmaking, it would have the opposite effect for players who are trying to complete the raid. They said that it would be terrible for a team if they were to throw a random player in with you who only wanted to teabag in the corner and didn't want to do what was being asked of them, didn't have a mic or anything like that, you couldn't control them, it would just ruin the experience for you. So, sorry if that crushes your spirits already for even trying to think about taking on the Vault of Glass, but this is what they've said, so this is what I'm relaying to you guys. It doesn't hinder me at all, though. I mean, I'm still totally stoked for it. But this also left another question unanswered, and that was, well, what happens if you have 6 and some of your teammates start to drop off because the raid is too long or they just don't have time to finish it? Well, short answer, your team's going to die. That's what's going to happen. In a hypothetical situation, if the raid calls for your team to split up for some reason and there isn't enough members for one side, then that team with the least amount of guys is going to die, and that eventually will lead to the team that did have enough to die because they don't have enough support from the other side. So all in all, I think what Bungie is basically trying to tell you is choose your teammates wisely before you start, because this kind of stuff could come up, and it's on you. And this leads me to my next topic, which, how long is this bad boy going to take you? Now this is where the fun info starts to come in. A few weeks back there was a video up of Bungie guys talking about the raid, and one guy said it would probably take you about 5 to 6 hours to finish. And another guy said it took him and his team almost an hour just to get past the entrance of the raid. Now, I know what those numbers did. They were so high that they just scared a ton of you guys away, but think about it from Bungie's standpoint. It's supposed to be hard. They want to scare everyone they possibly can away from this raid because it keeps the completion rate really low. And if it was easy, then everybody would do it, and there would be no point in doing it then because there's no glory in that. But personally, upon hearing those numbers, I'm taking it with a huge grain of salt because truth is, we've never even played it yet. We have no idea of how difficult it actually is. Game's not out. Who's to say that when the game finally does come out, me and my team don't get in there and just chop those numbers in half? It could easily happen. It might not, but hey, I'm a wishful thinking guy. Another cool piece of info that Bungie also said was going to be not in the raid was objective markers or waypoints, which means there are no indicators whatsoever for where you are supposed to go once you are done with what you just finished. So if you're not paying attention and you guys get lost, your team might have to forfeit. They just might have to give up. Flip side of that is, let's say you guys do figure it out, that's going to be a big boost of morale for your team, and hopefully it'll, propel you further into the raid and keep you guys going. A little happiness will go a long way. And this leads me to my final topic, and that's going to be on weapons and subclasses, the miscellaneous parts of it. And I'm going to start with the weapons first. So for anyone who played the beta, you've seen how many weapons you can carry at any given time, and it's fairly large, so I think this goes without saying, but I'm going to say it anyways. I'm sure Bungie is going to throw every type of enemy they can at you during the raid, and this means you need to have the best weapons you can find before you start. Personally, I'm going to bring one of everything to this little party so that I have some options. And I know I'm a shotgun guy and that's my thing, but I'll switch it up if I have to, as long as that means I beat this sumbitch. I'd hate to be the guy who brought the little tiny pistol to a sniper rifle fight, if you get what I'm saying. If it comes down to it and you got to switch it up, it's better that you have the option to. And lastly, during the beta, we were introduced to the 3 Guardian types as well as their 2 subclasses. And unfortunately, we were only able to play as one of the subclasses, but at launch we'll be able to experience both. And what's cool is, upon reading about subclasses, I read that you can switch these subclasses at will at any time. So, since I was a warlock in the beta, and you can only play his Voidwalker class, that Voidwalker class is known to be his damage class. And his Sunslinger class, which was locked, is more of the team-oriented class in terms of giving your team buffs instead of doing high damage and things like that. So, as a good player during the raid, I probably could switch subclasses during it, and I'll probably be more beneficial to my team, just as long as I don't die while I'm doing it. So I don't know, those are just a few things I was thinking about. Anyways, that's all the details, all the concrete details anyways that I have on the raid, and all I know for sure is I'm going to do what I do best, and I'm going to try and platinum it. Destiny, my next platinum, I'm calling it right now. And one thing for sure to get that platinum you need to do is get the trophy for beating the raid on hard difficulty. So I'm not going to mess around with playing the raid on normal. I'm going hard in the paint all the way. Just get it out of the way, one shot. Anyways, if any of you guys are still unfazed by the daunting task that lay before us in Destiny, add me on the PSN, and maybe, just maybe, we'll bust that piñata wide open. Anyways, thanks for sticking around, guys. I'll see you guys on September 9th.